Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Borkino game video. Today's video is dedicated to Enraged Minotaur and a guide on how to tackle him. So let's go ahead and jump right into this and go over a few summons as well. So when you're going into Minotaur and you're trying different teams, this is the team that I know is good, but you really shouldn't do it, alright? And there's a couple of reasons for this, and that's because it's going to ruin all of your other teams when you're doing damage to the bosses. So for example, you have Jun, Mitsuki, and Makoto. These are the best death breaks in the entire game. And what happens is when you use them all at once, you hurt your overall damage for your other teams. So in this one, I might be very consistent and I might be able to deal 500k plus every single time no matter what. I don't even have to do anything, you can fully auto it. The only issue is when you run this team is that you are losing damage on your other teams. So what happens is you can gain 50 to 100k damage on this team in particular, but then you lose 200k to 300k damage on your other teams because you don't have two defense breaks, alright? Yes, you can borrow Makoto. Yes, you can borrow Jun. That's totally fine. I understand that. In some situations, you can even borrow Jun twice. That way you can have more usages to have def downs, because if you can use Makoto and Jun, and then Makoto and Mitsuki on the last team, that would be very helpful. The issue is that, of course, Kaori at 5-star can be a little bit more helpful than having an extra death break. So you can see here, my damage is very consistent. No one dies. I have like 504k, 508k, 513k. It's just something that if you try to do it this way, yes, it's very consistent, but you will hurt your overall damage going into the future because you need at least 2 death breaks in order to do it right. And I know that damage is very tempting, but it's just one of those things that we should be aware of. So this, I'm going to show you like my more consistent run in order to run teams for pretty much this boss in particular, Minotaur. Saren is going to be a huge help for providing more shields and stuff. And in this one, you don't have to switch Kokkoro out because you have Jun as the face tank. Overall, shields help with mitigating the stun. Saren is actually not as good as Yukari in this situation. If I said Saren before, apologies on that. I meant Yukari. Yukari is just better overall with the shields, right? And if you want to run Saren, you can, but from what I've seen, if you try to run Saren, the damage is pretty much the same. It's not that much different from one another. So you can see here, like, no one's dying, everything's pretty consistent. Of course, it's going to be consistent because when you have Yukari, she provides TP buffs, not to mention the heals. Keeping everyone alive is just overall much easier. And of course, I want to run the Kokkoro tank. Kokkoro tank is obviously the best version, I would have to say, when you're pretty much tackling any team. So long as you can pull it off, it's going to work. I'll show you what Kokkoro tank means, but from the most I've been seeing, it's been messing up quite a bit. So there's just some situations where I'm like, nah, I don't think that's the way to go. And I might run this team just for consistency's sake. Now, it's not dealing like 500k worth of damage consistently. It's going to barely hit 500k here, which is, not the greatest thing to see. But at the same time, it's consistent damage, and that's what I'm looking for when you're running an auto team. You want consistent damage. All right, so let's go ahead and go back into the trial runs and show you what Kokkoro face tank is going to be. So you're going to take out Mitsuki and then Kokkoro. This is the team, right? And you want this spacing in particular. Probably use Yukari instead of Suzuna to keep everyone alive a little bit better. It's honestly up to you, but Yukari is just great for this boss in particular, which is very nice to see, right? So you can see here everything's going out pretty well. We have Kaori here. She's face tanking. Make sure she's pretty much doing her autos. Autos keep her alive faster. You want her to cast her UB as soon as possible so she can get more health. It doesn't matter if she casts it after Makoto, because what happens there is you end up messing up the timing and everything, and Makoto will do the death breaks and your Kaori will deal more damage, but then your Kaori has more potential to die even faster, which is what you really don't want. So we can get this UB off as fast as possible, get some health back, and then try slash, and then hopefully we stay in the front. And this is the part where you sort of pray that you don't die. All right, so I die there. I feel like the boss is way too enraged, and no matter what I do, it won't really help as much. So yeah, there's that, and it's just one of those things that you sort of have to look out for and cover for as you're going through this, right? So if you want to run like Kaori tank, it does work for this one. It's just that on Enraged mode Minotaur, it's very hard to pull off because his damage is so high that it sort of just like destroys your Kaori. And this is still like the best damage one, but like I said, very risky. If there's some ways that I can improve upon it, I know Kokkoro gets shot like into the back, but she can stay in the front for the most part. My highest recommendation is definitely probably running this team. You know, this one is going to be like the most consistent with Yukari, and then feel free to, you know, I guess we'll just use a Kaori right here. You can technically borrow a June, but from what I've seen, Makoto Mitsuki is totally fine to use. It just works out better. It's up to you at the end of the day. Who do you want to borrow? Do you want to borrow a Kaori that's 5-star from a friend or a support or a clan member, who have you, or would you rather borrow a June? It doesn't really matter in some case because you just get an extra defense break in some situations, and technically you can sort of use, you know, Mitsuki, June, and Makoto on one team if you borrow someone else's June, so you have a June on another tank. You know, you have 2 def breaks on another team. It can get very wonky in some situations because you won't have like Kaori on your other team, so you won't have like an extra DPS in some ways. Because what happens is when you borrow like a Kaori, is you have a more DPS potential, but if you borrow a June, for example, you have more defense break potential. So there's give and takes. And those are the two sides. Most of the time people are borrowing Kaori, but it's just something that I want us to be aware of when we're tackling this game mode, when we're trying to pretty much go for Minotaur. And you can see here, this is the damage that I expected when going against Minotaur with this consistent team, which is 432k. I knew that 501k was definitely an anomaly, but that is going to be like the team sets that you can run. You can also run Saren. You know, it works pretty similarly if you don't want to run Yukari, for example. Let's go ahead and run it, and you can totally replace Suzuna with Arisa or Shiori, whichever like DPS. You can even replace it with Eriko, but Eriko might be a little bit risky with Enraged Minotaur just because of the fact that his damage might be able to kill Eriko at this point. It's up to you. I've seen Eriko work very well during this clan battle, just not during this Enraged mode. And you know he's going to be enraged because he has like these little flame particles everywhere, and he's gonna pretty much deal way more damage, and he's gonna have much higher potential to kill your team, which is why Kaori keeps dying for the most part, which is really sad to see. But you can see here everything's going well, and Makoto's getting most of the TP boostings, which is what you want to see. That's why Saren is really useful. Saren isn't like someone who deals massive amounts of damage. She's just there to help boost Makoto in particular to have more UBs in order to get more defense breaks off. More defense breaks means more damage for everyone else to deal. You can see here Makoto is able to get her defense break much quicker. If I manualed it, maybe I could probably get like more damage off because Makoto plus a defense break, Suzuna doing her thing will be a lot better for the team. But you can see here, like, even though it's on auto, the damage is the same thing as Yukari, which is what I wanted to show in the end. So if you wanted more consistent teams with Minotaur, these are the teams that I can provide, where it's like either Yukari or Saren. They're sort of like interchangeable, and then, you know, run June as a tank, or you can try to run the Kokkoro face tank. It's just much more difficult. Maybe if Kokkoro was like 4-star or 5-star, the longevity would be a little bit better, right? Do some summons. We're gonna do our first draw here. We're gonna expend all 46 gacha tickets, like the summon tickets, and yes, they do stack and everything. I could use this for future references, but I want to burn all of them. We're trying to get Saren here. If we can get Saren somehow, that'd be amazing. Or is all singles? Can use 10 tickets at a time. Yeah, it's all singles, young showman. You have to use all singles. Andre, bless you, Bork. Oh, thanks, Gravity. You can't do 10x tickets. I wish. That'd be really cool. Build up the RNG, I guess, in some ways. Friend of mine is rerolling for Makoto plus the extra here for Clambo. What do you recommend? June, ideally. June is the recommended. It's here during Hero Contra. Yeah, Hero Contra was where my pretty much career started. Yeah, hopefully we can get Saren here. If not, I wish they made it till you can 10x tickets at a time. Single pull suffering. Single pull, I'm okay with single pull. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Epic 7, you know what I mean? Like when you were doing like summons and it's always all singles. I don't think you can do multis in like Epic 7. That was like by far like one of the most painful like summon sessions I've ever had. Does it still trigger the 10x guarantee? Void, I was told it doesn't. So we haven't gotten a single gold. How deep are we? We're 4 deep, right? So let's go ahead and try again. Yeah, we're 4 deep right now, 5 deep. So by the time we get to the 10th, you can pretty much know whether it actually triggers the gold or not. I mean, I'm doing this because of the fact that if I can somehow get, you know, Saren within the clan battles. It'll help not just like the current like clan battle, it'll help future clan battles, and not to mention I can 5-star her quicker and save up for a 6-star version eventually, which will be nice. Follows, I appreciate it. Alright, let's go ahead and keep this going. Alright, thank you. I hope that they beat up the banners or keep the banner speed that we had previously. I would like that personally, just so that the content doesn't get dry. If they slow down the banners while also still giving us lots of events, that's cool though. 5% is big. You guys saw my pre-fest summons from before. Okay, we got a gold. So technically we got a gold before, plus it's Miyako, so that's pretty cool. Before we actually hit the 10 summon. So technically that counts, right? So on the 8th summon we got a gold. This is surprising. I have yet to get an Ayane. So technically we are now 11 singles deep, and we got 1 gold, which is nice. No, Ilya is not the next banner. We're gonna go deep in Saren banner. Yes, Aaron, exactly. Alright, Borkalip Jin, Horse Waifus. I know it sounds weird, but yeah. What the hell? Wait, what? Oh my god, what? Oh, no way. Are you kidding me? Dude, I was not paying attention. I was not paying attention. What the heck? I didn't even notice. Oh man. Yo, those tickets are OP. I wasn't paying, I was paying attention to the horse waifu comment. Oh my goodness, this account is ridiculous, man. Well, that's Saren. How many deep was that? 12? Thanks for the follow, Roger. Oh goodness gracious, that is crazy. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Once we get 17,500 subs, we'll be doing a giveaway. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.